Hey everyone, Gill Gross here post-match. Aryna Sabalenka versus Madison Keys, Australian Open 2025 final. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video. Madison Keys has done it at last. Her first major title, more than 6 years after reaching her first final at the 2017 US Open. She is the champion at the 2025 Australian Open. Madison Keys, Grand Slam champion, major title winner. Talk about a sweet story, a sweet moment. Somebody who has been close a ton and has not been able to get it. Someone who had high expectations as a young player that she would get there eventually. Those expectations quickly turned into negativity, a lot of doubt, external, internal. We all heard it. We all saw it. She's a choker. She's stubborn. Now, I'm not going to tell you that she always handled the pressurized moments, the big matches extremely well mentally. I'm not going to tell you that her play style didn't sometimes leave you scratching your head, that she always loved plan B and plan C. No, I'm not going to say any of those things about the Madison Keys of the past. But what I will tell you is she completely flips the narrative around with this one title run, because what we just saw from Madison Keys was the opposite. I mean, you couldn't get further away from stubborn. That's the story we just saw play out. And she said this. She got to a point where she was like, look, I'll try anything. And there's something to be said for having belief in the things that you're doing and having confidence in those things, feeling like eventually if you stick with it, you'll get there. But it's a fine line. It's a balance. And at some point, and Keys got to this point, you have to let go of some of the things that may feel comfortable. And you got to try some stuff. So what did Keys try? Let me start with the one that's not going to be talked about enough, because I feel like this news cycle has kind of blown over and there's been more attention on some of the other stuff. But she changed her mindset. And if you heard her talk last year, or even at the start of this year before she was deep into the Australian Open run, she has talked about how she feels very different on the court. And if you frame the way she handled this final, the way she was able to believe, trust her shots and go after it and just stay calm throughout the ebbs and flows of this final, it's all in the context of the fact that she has been able to change her mindset through therapy. I mean, she's talked about this openly. Through therapy, she has been able to disassociate her self-worth with her tennis results, which I think is a really important thing for all players to focus on, something that everybody should focus on in terms of also just going about your life and your career, no matter what you do for work. Disassociate your self-worth with the tennis results. And I think her ability to do that allowed her to relax on the court more and enjoy herself on the court more, enjoy the entire process. Kind of escape from the pressure valve that I think that the pressure that she put herself under for all those years. And it certainly looked like it, because, she would play big matches with a high level of anxiety, and that just doesn't seem to be the case anymore. So she changed her mindset. She totally changed her service motion. Lower toss, quicker rhythm, pinpoint stance. It's a totally new serve. And she changed her equipment. She went to full polyester string bed. She used to be hybrid gut poly, so that's more control. And she went to a modernized frame. She played with Wilson her entire career. It's over a decade she was playing with Wilson. And she went to Yonex, more modernized frame, more forgiveness, more power. I think larger head size, lighter frame, thicker frame, which is where that extra power and some of that extra forgiveness comes from. Just a larger sweet spot, doesn't have to do as much, can swing a little bit smoother, a little bit easier, and still get her same pace of shot that she was getting with the Wilson. But it seemed like where it really helped her most, to my eyes, return of serve and absorbing pace. That's where the forgiveness is going to help you the most. She did not lose what what you're concerned about by switching to a racket like that, is that you might lose some of the pinpoint accuracy. Guess what? Maddie Keys doesn't need the pinpoint accuracy. She plays to big targets with her pace, and she is just fine. There is plenty of offense if she just plays to big targets with her big pace. That's what she does. And that's what she did in this final. As much as she has reinvented herself in the ways that I just listed, she has not reinvented the wheel in terms of how she won this final. With silly pace, unbelievably overwhelming shot-making talent. And I think the most impressive part as we go through this is she won everything on her own terms here. Like, let's start with the 5-6 game. By the way, 5-all, third set, major final. Come on now. I mean, that's what you want. Doesn't get much better than that. First time since 2012 that a major final on the women's side went to a 5-all in the third. And at the Australian Open, it had been since 1981. Everett versus Navratilova at Kooyong. So this was the first time in Melbourne Park. All right, 5-6 game. What do we got here? Keys forced 2 errors with deep pace through the middle. So tons of depth, tons of pace, and Sabalenka's just so rushed, she can't handle it. It's too hot to handle. That's what I'm talking about here. So some folks might have scored that unforced errors. Not me. To me, that's an unforced error, and she did it off of both wings. One of them was a forehand cross-court where she actually anticipated a Sabalenka offensive cross-court forehand and countered. Aryna was inside the court attacking, which made the pace and the depth even more deadly for her. And then the other one was a backhand down the line, but not down the line close to the sideline. I'm talking middle, kind of directly at Sabalenka's forehand. Too deep, too fast. Force the error. That is what Madison Keys has the ability to do with how hard she hits the ball. She also hit a backhand down the line return winner. And on the championship point, she hit a forehand inside-out winner in rally to win the title. So 5-6 game, no unforced errors by Sabalenka. How about her service games throughout the third set in which she did not get broken? She was at 30-all 3 times. Here's what she did at 30-all in her 3 service games. Forced error, service winner, hold. Winner, winner, hold. Winner, winner, hold. Those were the 3 30-all situations and how she responded. And by the way, the last winner, winner, hold was at 5-all. And the 30-all shot at 5-all, 5-all, 30-all, she hit, given the circumstances, probably the most impressive shot of the tournament. Now, I know it's not going to be up there on the highlight reels, and that's why I hesitated. Lorenzo Sonego has hit some ridiculous ones at this tournament, for example. But, again, given the circumstances, Sabalenka melted the return deep middle, and Keys took it off the short hop, forehand inside out, changed direction on it, and put it inside the right sideline for a winner. It was just a perfect return and then a +1 winner off of a perfect return. I mean, it was a stunning, stunning forehand baseline half volley. The timing was absurd on one of the biggest points of the match. So that was the third set. You look at the first set, Keys was comically good. Just ridiculous. Made 19 of 22 first serves. Totally stifled Sabalenka's serve. There was no serve +1 for Sabalenka because Keys' returns were coming in too big. And, Aryna double faulted twice in the opening game. It was not a good tone setter. I don't think she was feeling her serve to start. Was maybe a little bit safer on some of her first serves. And Keys was there to eat it up. Sabalenka was 10 of 23 on first serve points. Now, another thing that we saw in the first set, Keys made Sabalenka play some extra balls. There were some great scrambles by Maddie. Obviously not what she's known for. But Aryna was kind of a mess in the forecourt on a few big occasions here. And there were some really important points where Keys actually won on defense in the first set. So I just thought Keys, again, like, this is why folks for so long, especially when she was young, would insist on the fact that she will win a major. She should win a major because the talent and the ability in the shot making, she can take the racket out of anybody's hands. She's always had that ability. And, it's about making returns, making first serves, being able to execute it under pressure. Backhand down the line, by the way, if I want to pinpoint one shot, that shot caught fire in the third set. But ultimately, look, Sabalenka and Keys, two biggest hitters in women's tennis, right? But Keys did not look rushed by Sabalenka's power as much as Sabalenka looked rushed by Keys' power. And that says a lot about Maddie Keys. When they were playing big middle, like lots of pace through the middle of the court, advantage Keys for most of this match. Now, second set, Sabalenka found some success there. I thought she found some of Madison's weaknesses. She, first of all, got way more second serve looks. She crushed those second serve looks. Keys' second serve can be a little bit slow. And I think as an offensive player, that is one of Keys' weaknesses. She really doesn't, she's not always able to get her offense off behind her second serve because it's a bit attackable. And Sabalenka is the probably cream of the crop, maybe other than Rybakina, at attacking the second serve return. So she was crushing second serve looks, and Sabalenka got dialed in on the drop shot, and that's the other Keys' weakness. Like, she doesn't have good straight line speed. And Sabalenka really took advantage of that on the drop shot, and Keys was not moving up to it very quickly. And that was the second set. But as far as the first set and the third set, I don't think Sabalenka did a ton wrong here. I don't have much to tell you about everything that Sabalenka, other than in the first set, she did not have the serve. And if there's one thing that leaves me scratching my head when it comes to Aryna here, is that apparently the ball toss got higher on her serve, and it looks very high to me. Looks super high. I don't know if this is Hawkeye confirmed, but Mary Jo Fernandez said that the toss got higher, and then I'm looking at it and it looks really high. That's a weird one to me because, like, to me, I understand why some players have a high toss. It's about the tempo and the timing of the serve, but if you can have a lower toss, that is almost always better. It is almost always a crutch to have a higher toss. And sometimes I get it. It just is more comfortable for players. So not everybody can have a low toss, but for Sabalenka to go higher on it feel like we're moving the wrong direction here. If you want consistency and repeatability, and accuracy and pace maximization of your serve, that's a weird one. But ultimately, this was really a well-deserved performance, and what a run by Madison Keys, because like Iga Swiatek looked incredible up until that semifinal when Keys beats her in a third set tiebreak. She looked phenomenal. And Keys beat Rybakina. And Keys beat Danielle Collins. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with this run? Maddie Keys. Congratulations to her. Congratulations to Maddie and her fans. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.